Ladies and gentlemen, I'll call to order the January meeting of the Oxford Planning Commission. Commissioners, you have the agenda before you. Are there any changes or additions to the agenda? If not, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right. Any changes or additions to the minutes from the December 8th meeting? If not, is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion approved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, Ben, do we have a staff report this evening? Thank you, sir. Please note that case number 3308 was administratively approved for the Oxford School District. We do have two items on the consent agenda tonight, both for the Oxford School District. Please let the record show that Commissioner Logan is recusing herself for these two, as well as counsel. Would anyone from the audience or from the commission like to pull one of the cases from the consent agenda? If not, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Move approval.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right. Could we retrieve Commissioner Logan? Just that fast. Welcome back. All right. Our first case for public hearing this evening will be case number 3304, RKF AM Holdings LLC. Has filed multiple requests. First, a special exception as provided in section 2.6.11, first floor residential. Another special exception is provided in section 5.6.1.3, building step back. A variance from section 2.6.11, urban center front build-to line minimum. And a variance from section 3.2.18.2, retaining wall height for the Weldon property located at Molly Bar in North Lamar. Ben.
Thank you. I'll tackle item A right now, the special exception for ground floor residential. This is the item that came before the commission at the December meeting. Subject property is the same piece of property that we discussed then at North Lamar and Molly Bar in the northwest corner. It encompasses just about 17 acres, a little bit more than that, and it's zoned urban center. The applicants returned to the commission with a modified proposal from what was previously presented. This new proposal includes a mix of uses across the entire site, including multifamily, commercial, including restaurants and retail, office space as well, a pedestrian plaza, and surface and structured parking to support the proposed uses. I do think it's important to note, because these numbers have slightly changed, that this proposal includes a total of 328 residential units with a total of 777 bedrooms. There's approximately 16,000, a little bit more than 16,000 square feet of common space, which is the amenity area and leasing space in the lobby as well. There is an increase in the commercial space from what was presented in the December meeting. Now that total is about 49,000 square feet of commercial. After the December Planning Commission meeting, the applicant modified buildings 5 and 6 to address comments from the commission. While both buildings still contain a portion of first floor and upper floor, that's third to fourth floors of residential, the commercial area of building 5 was increased by extending the space to full depth of the building near the entrance to North Lamar. The entirety of the North Lamar frontage of building 6 is now designated as commercial space. So we spent an awful lot of time talking about a commercial, the commercial presence towards North Lamar and how important that is. The parking structure continues to have liner buildings on the east side. And that will be an area of commercial space, leasable space. In addition to that, will be where the office is for the complex itself, like the leasing office. So where they had previously presented a plan that was going to be encompassed into, I think, the building to the west of the parking structure. Now those two liner buildings will be all, effectively commercial uses. I do want to point out on the, I guess, just north of building, what is it, building 6. I'm sorry, I don't have. Yeah, building 6. I think that's right. I have a hard time seeing it. But building 6, it's attached to building B. Just north of building B, they have taken that, what was parking space, and have created a programmable space, so it could be used for a variety of efforts, whether it's a market, a farmer's market, or some sort of an outdoor movie or concert or something like that. So, and I think that they were trying to address the previously discussed third space and how that was omitted from the plan. So we do appreciate that effort. There is still a parking reduction that is requested. I think that Kate will note that in the staff report. The current program now indicates about 40% across the entire site of commercial space on the ground floor. And staff we believe that this proposal and the revisions made certainly strike the balance of commercial and residential in this particular instance, and we therefore recommend approval with the 3 listed items in your report. Do you want to
Let's
entertain
just
any
have
questions?
discussion there first.
Sure.
And just see where it is. Any comments or questions from the commission? All right.
You've got one right beside
Oh,
you.
sorry. Go
No, I
ahead.
was just going to commend the efforts of staff and the developer to work together to come to a landing place on this. I support it.
Yeah, second.
That's
All
all I comment. Very appreciate the hard work put into take the comments of the planning commission. Very appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to the next request. This is something new, so I'll go into a little bit more depth. The applicant seeking a special exception from the requirement of, it's a step back requirement as required in section 5.6.1.3, and this would be applicable to buildings 1, 2, 5, 6, A, and B. That portion of the land development code requires that any portion of the facade of any buildings over 3 stories in height shall step back or shall recess 1.2 feet for every foot vertical. So that's above 3 stories. So it further establishes that the exemption from this requirement may be requested by special exception. So if you're not able to comply with that, or if there are circumstances that allow for differentiation from that, then you could come seek that special exception, which is what they're doing here. The exemption clause was added to address the reality that there are building sites and sometimes preferred architectural forms that address the underlying philosophy of the step back without a strict adherence to the form of a step back. This element of the code was added to limit the potential for buildings like 514 Jackson, previously Uncommon Oxford, that present too sheer of a facade on the street, creating a bulky and leering architectural presence. The architecture proposed with Weldon North Lamar presents a varied presence in the buildings along Molly Bar and North Lamar street frontages, punctuated by differing window shapes, canopies, porches, and the building facade also provides variety with portions that project closer to the street while others recess from it. Additionally, the buildings on site are not proposed right on the property line along North Lamar and Molly Bar Road, and both of these roads have a wider right-of-way, which aids in a more human scale. This is the intent and spirit of the provision of this ordinance, and staff recommends approval with the staff recommends approval in that instance. No conditions.
Any questions on the step back?
Okay, and then moving on to the third request is a variance from the front yard build-to line. The applicant's requesting a 118-foot variance from the front yard build-to line maximum for the proposed location of Building 4. The applicant notes that the location of Building 4 was chosen in an effort not to only coordinate cohesively with the rest of the proposed development, but also to address a hardship along Chickasaw Road. The application goes on to state that the difficult grade change on the site along Chickasaw Road and the site as a whole, a series of retaining walls are necessary to develop a building within this area of the site. The applicant has concerns with the placement of a 4-story building on top of a multiple retaining walls, and by doing so, it would create kind of that canyon-like effect or that not human scale that that the code aspires. to have. Vision 2037 Comprehensive Plan of the Land Development Code encourage buildings to be placed closer to the street, allowing for parking to be located at the side or the rear of the building and to minimize the visual impact. Staff agrees that the grade differential and the concern of creating a canyon condition at this location presents a hardship that are outside of the applicant's control. And in this instance, the applicant is proposing a 48-inch screen wall at the back of the parking curb in conjunction with an evergreen planting screen to at least minimize the visual impacts of the parking and headlights of people that are navigating the parking lot. So staff recommends approval of the variance requested with the 2 noted conditions.
Any questions from the commission on the variance? All right. Last report.
And then lastly is a retaining wall height variance, and the applicant is requesting to exceed the 4-foot retaining wall front yard maximum for retaining walls 1 and 2. Retaining wall 1 fronts towards Molly Bar and Chickasaw Roads with a maximum height of 12 feet. This wall is situated on the west side of the building and is considerable. It's a considerable distance from both roads. Retaining wall number 2 is a series of 2 walls located along Chickasaw Road. The lower wall does not exceed 4 feet, but the upper wall has a maximum of 5 feet. As with the previous request, the applicant details the significant topographical challenges of the site as reasons to grant the variance, and as such, staff finds this to be a reasonable request. Staff recommends approval with the 1 condition.
Any questions on the retaining wall height?
Applicants here and may wish to speak at this time.
Yes,
Good
sir.
evening.
Good evening.
My name is Ryan Kaiser with RK Fam Holdings. Weldon Development Group out of Chicago, Illinois is my project partner who has assisted in pre-development activities and primarily responsible for the financing and construction components of development. I just want to give a huge thanks to the planning staff, Ben, Robert, James, Kate. They've been, at any moment, one of our requests, they made themselves available to help us get us here today. Very much appreciated. I wouldn't be here today without the local team, who many of them are here tonight, and I'm truly blessed to be a part of that group. I would like to say that my development passion is to be a community partner with the city and its residents. By delivering a project that aligns with the city's vision, absorbing the city's 2037 comprehensive plan, truly identifying the right piece of property that provides a profound impact, trying to tie the city's vision to the needs that spurs additional synergetic planned growth. I think we've done that here. We've assembled 22 parcels with 11 different property owners, approximately 18 acres at the prime intersection of North Lamar and Molly Bar. It's this proposed plan and the project completion date of August of 2028. So just blessed to be here, and thanks for everybody's help getting us here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else from the audience who'd like to speak? Any other questions from the commission? If not, we can vote on these one at a time. The first will be the special exception for first floor residential. Is there a motion?
So moved. Move approval.
With conditions?
With conditions.
All right, we have a motion to approve with staff conditions. Is there a second?
Second.
There is a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. The second request is for special exception for the building step back. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. That brings us to the variances. The first variance is for the front build to line. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve, subject to the state staff conditions.
There's a motion to approve with conditions. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the final variance for the retaining wall height. Is there a motion from the commission?
Move approval with condition.
Approval with conditions. Is there a second? There's a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. It's approved. Thank you again, gentlemen, for the work with the city. That brings us to the site plan for the same property, case number 3305, RK Fam Holdings, LLC has filed a request for site plan approval for the Weldon for property located at Molly Bar and North Lamar Boulevard. Okay,
Thank you. I will attempt to not retread what we've already discussed here, but just to reorient us, we're talking about the development at the corner of North Lamar and Molly Bar Road, which is property zoned urban center. The southeast portion of the site will be mixed use, comprised of buildings A through E, the pedestrian plaza at the corner of Molly Bar and North Lamar Boulevard. Proposed uses include commercial, retail, restaurant, and office, residential, as well as a parking garage, which is building E. And the rest of the site is multifamily. As Ben stated, the development includes 328 residential units for a total of 777 bedrooms and just over 49,000 square feet of commercial space. So for use and parking, the urban center district is intended for development that's primarily commercial in nature on a pedestrian scale. Commercial uses would support the service and shopping needs of the immediate neighborhood. It allows for mixed use structures with residential on upper floors as well as fully commercial buildings. And as in this case, there'll be some first floor residential by special exception. The parking structure proposed as a part of this development will be used in conjunction with surface parking as well. The garage is centrally located, and while it's 6 stories, there's about 4 floors that are above grade and will be visible from the street due to the grading on the site. The applicant provided a letter requesting an 8% reduction in parking for the entire development. The current plan would provide 996 spaces total, when the required amount would be 1,088, so that's a difference of 92 spaces. The applicant states that the reduction request is reasonable as all residential buildings are parked adequately, while the commercial portions of the site will utilize shared parking. Staff finds this acceptable as the mix of uses on the site will allow for the use of the parking garage and the surface parking for multiple purposes effectively, and supports that reduction in parking. Let's see, architecture and building materials. The proposed materials are consistent across the site and are appropriate based on the requirements of the Land Development Code. For landscaping and tree mitigation, the tree mitigation calculations provided are correct, but I'm sure some of you saw that we noted in the report that some of the trees that were indicated are not appropriate for replacement trees. They were more like columnar trees as opposed to trees that provide shade and have a wider canopy. So we're still working with the team on that, and that's included as a condition of approval, but that'll be worked out. We're not worried about that issue. And the rest of the landscaping plan meets the requirements of the code. The coverage is adequate at 67.1% when 80% is allowed by the code. Let's see, the engineering department provided comments related to access, water and sewer, and stormwater management. And staff is recommending approval of the site plan with 10 listed conditions from both planning and engineering.
thank you, Kate. So minor question, is Huggins Road, does it just cease to be, or is the access road that goes through the middle of the development, will that be a city street?
It's my understanding Huggins Road will
Just cease to be? Okay. Thank you. Other questions?
Stormwater management, related question. You guys have a plan yet? I'm sure you're gonna solve it, but I mean, how at hand is it to be solved, and does the developer know what all is gonna be entailed?
So our stormwater engineer has been working with the site's design engineer, and it's my understanding they are very close to a solution.
So we know it's feasible.
Yes.
Will that fix the flooding on Crispin Road? That's part of the
It will
plan.
not exacerbate. Yeah. This development will have to contain all the water that's coming through there. There are some issues that the city will probably need to address downstream due to current conditions, but this project will not exacerbate.
Okay.
And the parking we're good with, we're 92 spots short.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, I mean, so there's going to be a mix of uses there, right? There's going to be some restaurant and some retail, and, you know, I would assume the retail will close and the restaurant will have dinner, and, you know, there'll be shared uses in some areas. So, yeah, true.
Parking-related question, will those parking spots along the water, will those remain private, or will those become city?
Those would be in the right of way, that would be public.
They're city.
Will they be metered?
I'm sure.
It could be.
Not at this time.
What are the odds?
Are those counted as part of the project? As part of the Are those counted as part of the calculation?
We did.
Yeah.
Any questions on this end? Anybody from the audience that would like to speak on the site plan? All right. If there's no further discussion, is there a motion on the site plan for the Weldon property?
Move approval with the 10 conditions.
There's a motion to approve with the staff conditions. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Site plan is approved. That brings us to case number 3306. Vanessa and Jackson Price have filed a request for a variance from section 2.6.5 neighborhood residential front yard build-to line minimum for property located at 306 Shiloh Drive. Robert?
All right, the subject property is about a third of an acre, lot 55 in Shiloh Place. Applicant is requesting relief from the shown 25-foot front yard setback that's recorded on the subdivision plat for the purposes of constructing a gable roof extension over the front door. The existing structure already sits directly at that front setback line. Applicant contends that the lot is uniquely shaped and has topographical issues. There's a 37.5-foot TVA easement on the south side of the property, and that reduces the buildable area significantly. Additionally, the current condition of the house and lack of protection over the front door is leading to water intrusion through the front door. Applicant is proposing to construct a gable that protrudes about 6 feet into the front setback, which is about 1.5 feet short of the existing stair sets that are there. I've listed out the conditions for granting a variance. And staff agrees that there are some unique topographical and easement issues with this lot. They don't appear to be directly relevant to this request, as they are more on the rear of the lot. The house in question is roughly the same as every other lot in, or every other house in Shiloh Place, and was just kind of built at the front built-to line. Staff is sympathetic to the issue of water intrusion. We have solutions that are allowed of a 3-foot appurtenance that is not attached to the ground, can intrude into the setback, or as the case in a lot of the houses in Shiloh that do not have a gable over the front door is recessed. For those reasons, staff cannot support this variance request, and staff recommends denial. Should the Planning Commission grant the variance, staff requests with the condition that approvals for the plan is submitted. I've provided y'all with an extra 2-pager that the applicant has provided in light of that. Staff's position has not been changed. Applicant is here.
Thank you, sir. Any questions from the commission for staff? Okay. Sir, would you like to speak? Come on.
Good afternoon. My name is Jackson Price. I'm the homeowner, along with my wife, Vanessa. I just wanted to thank the commission. There's not very many opportunities where citizens, private citizens, can petition their government to come ask for permission to do things with property that they purchased. I appreciate that opportunity. I'm not a builder, I'm not a planner, I'm just a homeowner. So thank you for the opportunity. I'd like to make one quick story, and I would like to point out 2 items that I think we delayed in getting to the Planning Commission for consideration by the board. Number 1 is my story. For those of you that watched the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans, some of you may have been present, some of you may have watched it on TV. At the end of the game, Coach Golden got doused with Gatorade, ice cold Gatorade. Ice flew over, it was blue, I think, for those that saw it, and he didn't flinch. It was freezing cold water. I felt the same way the first time I tried to walk up and open that front door with my key. At the roof pitch, water ran down my neck while I tried to open the front door. Now, I didn't win a playoff championship game that day, but I did get entry into my house. Having said that, we purchased this home with the intention to renovate. We're renovating a 30-plus-year-old home. All my wife wanted for the front of this house was to paint it and put a covering over the porch so that we could open the door without water coming down on us. Having done that, we applied for a permit and were denied. We then applied for a variance, and that's why we're here today. We did submit our information, albeit rudimentary. We did the best we could. But in addition to that, when I was advised that the staff recommended denying the variance request, I did a little extra research, and I wanted to point out two things. Number one, I looked back and saw that the city of Oxford had a comprehensive land use plan back in 2004, where you guys were considering the growth of Oxford and what to do in these scenarios and trying to plan ahead for the future. Now, having said that, this house was built the plat was developed in 1996, and it was built in 1999. So here in 2004, the city started looking at setbacks. And under that land use plan in 2004, Section 7, specifically 7A2, building setback and area requirements, additional density of the city of Oxford, provided by reducing lot sizes and the cost reduction for driveways resulting from reducing setbacks, help combine to lower overall costs for builders. That's at page 59 of the 2004 plan. Now, more recently, you guys have adopted the Vision 2037. That plan actually supports what you guys were considering, or the city was considering back in 2004. For example, in section 2.6.5 for NR, neighborhood residential areas, the front yard build-to line, the maximum has changed. It is now 20 feet. Our house, the building setback line in 1999 was set at 25 feet. The recommendations of the new plan have actually moved buildings, and he stated it earlier when he was talking about this commercial property, that buildings are encouraged to be built closer to the street. So that struck me as the fact that what was being considered in 2004 has now been implemented by the city of Oxford in reducing these setback lines, encumbering homeowners with having to build a certain distance. The staff did mention the fact that this house is encumbered by a TVA right-of-way at the rear of the residence. Because of that right-of-way, the house could not be built any farther back, or it would infringe on that easement. So the house had to be placed where it was, which is right there at that 25-foot, back then, 25-foot setback line. So all we're asking is for approval to add a front porch at 6 feet, or in the alternative, give me the 5 feet that the new plan allows for. Allow me to build a 5-foot extension front porch to cover my porch. Since the city's new plan actually implements a 20-foot maximum setback, that would help me accomplish the goal. The purpose of setback lines is for safety. It's for not to endanger the public welfare or hamper the orderly development of a property. None of what we're trying to do here hampers any sight lines of any visual drive, such as children running out chasing after balls, or fire trucks and police officers coming out of an adjoining street. Being able to see while going down the roadway is why setbacks, one reason that why setbacks are there. This property, and I went to extremes in actually drawing that PowerPoint to show the visualness of the path of travel of cars, showing that this property sits back off the road. It will not encumber any of the issues determined by setback rules. Thank you for your time. I'm not going to take up any more of it. I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any questions for the applicant? Yeah, sir, we have one. That's all right.
Yes, sir.
Is the 3-foot overhang that's mentioned in the staff report, is that solid problem?
It may, but I was not given that opportunity when we applied for a permit. I wasn't told that there's a 3-foot allowance. It was basically denied because the front of my facade actually sits on the setback line. However, there was one other definition in that 2037 plans It's at page 207, definition 10.2.46, the building setback line. The distance required by this code to be maintained between a given lot line, easement or right-of-way, and any foundation, front, rear, or side as specified. The homeowners, we contend that this is not foundation. We're asking to extend 2 4x4 poles down. It's not foundation. So therefore, we're not encroaching on the setback line for that as defined in the 2037 plan. I guess as an alternative to the alternative, granting me 5 feet, I guess I'll take what I can get, a 3-foot awning of some sort. I'm not sure whether or not my wife will want me to put an awning on the front of the house. We'd like the plan to be approved as submitted, but I'll take what I can get.
Yes, sir. Can staff clarify, was the 3-foot overhang referring to an awning, or what was the?
3-foot permit. So you measure from the front building wall, and as long as whatever you are looking at does not touch the ground, so that could be a bay window, balcony, something like that, we do not count those into as part of the setback.
So as long as it's not supported from the ground, it doesn't
Correct.
count as foundation, so
Right.
you can go out, okay, even if it's a permanent part of the structure. Okay.
So it could come out 6 feet and then the supports, instead of going straight down, could go straight back to the house, like at an angle?
Only 3 feet.
3 feet.
3 feet.
3 feet, okay. So
And then beyond that, then we're going to start counting against the setback.
so at 3 feet, it can't come straight to the ground? Like he's got it?
No.
No, it cannot be affixed to the ground.
Okay, so 3 feet, not affixed to the ground.
Can't leave.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned other houses that recess the front entrance. That's a structural change.
It is. And then that's what's in the neighborhood is either you have, the front building is built back a little bit, and then there's a gable, or the front is recessed. But that seems to be the building pattern inside of Shiloh.
Comment.
Please, go ahead.
First of all, I just want to commend staff for putting in the code requirements for a variance and kind of racking those factors and being very reasoned and measured in that. I do think this is one that can be argued both ways. And I tend to think that the arguments are fairly equal on both sides. And so I'm inclined to support this request. So just wanted to let the commission know my thinking on that as requested.
Thank you, sir. Other comments or questions? From the commission?
I would agree with that comment, and I would also say for the record, this neighborhood is on a pretty short list of, to me, problems for the city. It's the best way I can put it. So anything that would improve the look or aesthetics, which this looks to do to me. But yeah, I appreciate the city's hardline stance on the rules. I do think an exception is warranted in this case because it's going to improve the look of the house and probably the value of it. And so I would be in favor of that for this one case.
Ben, did you have a comment?
Yeah, I just want to make a clear distinction for y'all. This is the exception. I appreciate you pointing out what our current requirements are. If you were to, if the subdivision was to be built differently today, then I think you could come closer to the street. The distinction is in platted subdivisions where they already specify the building setback. And that's the instance in this on the subdivision plat. And our policy and practice has always been, if it's stated on that subdivision plat, we try to respect it to maintain some continuity in the development, because you can imagine if somebody all of a sudden tore down that house and they wanted to build something new, it could create safety issues. It could create a variety of inconsistencies with the overall style of development. So I do want to point out that distinction. Robert touched on it at the beginning of the staff report. That's why this is a little bit different. Our land development code, if you were to build a new subdivision today, would allow you to build, that extra 5 feet closer. So.
Is there a way we can approve this request with the 5 foot as opposed to the 6 foot here, or do we have to come back and?
No, I mean, I think, well, one, from my understanding, there's no reason to go with 5 feet over 6 feet. It's a variance from the existing setback either way. I mean, yeah.
You had water coming in your house?
Yes, sir.
Are there other homes designed like yours now?
Are the other homes in the neighborhood designed?
Yeah, I saw there's
I
many
drove through there this morning. In our phase, there are 97 homes in our phase of the subdivision. 72 of those homes have gabled or hip roofs covering the front door of the premises. So more than 3/4 of the homes in that subdivision have gabled or hip roofs over the front door. We are not allowed to because the front face is at the 25-foot setback line. So that's why we're here asking for permission to go beyond what is required by the ordinance.
Personal question, I
Yes,
see a for sale sign, are you planning to sell if we don't?
No, ma'am, there's no for sale sign there.
Okay.
We purchased this property 3 months ago. We have been renovating, doing some painting and some floor work. And my brother-in-law is a licensed contractor, and he agreed to build a roof over it. But I realized that I needed to ask permission first, so that's why I'm here.
Okay.
Are you gonna keep, so the new drawing's got a narrowed porch, is it gonna be that, or is it gonna be the original wider?
Did you say the new drawing?
Well, that's what it is side by side.
This side-by-side picture that's on the main screen, okay, the existing house is on the left.
Yeah.
The proposal for adding the porch is on the right. It's the same house, not changing anything, just adding a gabled roof over the porch.
One's narrow, one's wide.
Well, yeah, I guess,
I think it's the same dimension.
It's gonna keep the steps.
for right now, we're gonna leave the steps the same. We are proposing later on, when we can save some money, to redirect that driveway. It's a nightmare to the side of the house, and we'll ask the city's permission to do that. But when we do, we'd like to bring a sidewalk around, and we would likely narrow the steps, make it a little bit smaller, because they are 10 feet wide. But I hope that answers your question.
Let the record show that AI has made it to the planning commission.
Yeah.
It's a matter of time.
Any final questions or comments? If not, is there a motion on the variance?
Move approval of 3306 with the staff condition of the plan as submitted.
All right, there is a motion to approve the variance. Is there a second? There's a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the variance is granted. Thank you all.
Thank you.
That brings us to case number 3310. Walker and Walker Enterprises LLC has filed a request for site plan approval for Walnut Grove for property located at Highway 7 South. James,
Happy New Year.
happy New Year.
The subject property measures just under 28 acres. This is to the south of the village of Oxford on Highway 7 South. This is the last lot in city limits on the west side of Highway 7. The applicant is proposing a residential development, which they're referring to as Walnut Grove, which consists of 153 detached owner-selected units in an RCID, or residential common interest development. This is within the allowable density for neighborhood residential, which is the zoning for this parcel. Of these units, 38 propose a 4-bedroom. That's just under the 25% maximum for the district. Several of the 3-bedroom floor plans do indicate a bonus room, a playroom, a game room, or an attic, other programmable spaces. We've talked to the applicant about this. These floor plans do not indicate closets or direct access to bathrooms for these bonus rooms or game rooms, and the applicant has confirmed that they're not intended for bedroom use. But if any of these spaces are to be programmed as bedrooms, then a special exception for more than 25% 4-bedroom units would be required because they would be over that limit. An RCID is allowed by special use at this location. The application has been received by staff. We're still waiting on covenants, which will prevent us from approving that until we get that in, but we're not concerned about that. That is added as a condition of approval on this proposal. In this development, 1 parking space is required for each bedroom in the 4-bedroom units, and 2 parking spaces are required for each of the 3-bedroom units, and then 1 guest space is required for every 3 units. This proposal provides for a 2-car garage per unit and the potential for up to 2 parking spaces in the driveway as needed. And so you'll also note that there are 8 spaces provided near the pool or pool house as amenity parking. The provided parking sufficiently meets LDC requirements. Their obligation for this development totals 433 spaces. They are complying with lot coverage. They would be allowed lot coverage up to 60% in neighborhood residential, and they're proposing just over 38%. They've confirmed that Unit 82, which currently exceeds the 20-foot maximum build-to line along Highway 7, is going to be shifted to meet LDC requirements. And the proposed development complies with all other relevant dimensional standards in neighborhood residential. They provided a landscaping package which indicates street trees, foundation plantings, and screening and stormwater management areas, which are all in line with LDC standards. There are 8 trees that they are currently showing in MDOT right-of-way, but those will need to be shifted to on-property frontage. Tree mitigation, the bulk of this responsibility, you'll notice there's preservation of existing trees on the site. The limits of disturbance are not the entire site. They're not scraping and building. And so as a result, their mitigation responsibility is lower than it might otherwise be. The developer is going to be responsible for planting back 1 2-inch caliper tree or payment for the same of the tree escrow account. But we're not worried about making sure that that gets done. Complete streets, a proposal has been given indicating sidewalk connecting all units in the development, and additionally sidewalk going up Village Boulevard connecting to the development to the north, and relevant pedestrian crossings throughout the development. The civil drawings note that no buildings are to be constructed higher than 38 feet as allowed by the code. The provided building elevations do not demonstrate this maximum height, so we just wanted to note that that's on the civil as a note. All units are oriented towards the interior site, and additionally, units 1, 81, 82, 94, and 95 face other public streets, either Village Boulevard or Highway 7. The applicant has confirmed that these units were going to have the required front-facing architecture utilizing House Plan B. Engineering has provided comments relating to access, water and sewer, and stormwater management. And staff is recommending approval of the requested site plan for Walnut Grove with the 10 conditions listed in the staff report. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, James. Questions from the commission?
I believe Paul Coscionito, the engineer for the project, is here if any specific questions are for engineering.
Paul, anything you'd like to add?
Good evening. For the record, I'm Paul Coscionino with Precision Engineering here representing the applicant. I think James did an excellent job of summarizing the project and what we're proposing. I guess just real quick, couple of things. As far as the trees, by the calculations for mitigation requirements, we're only required to plant 1 tree, but the site will have many more trees than that planted, just to make sure that's clear. Streetscape trees primarily in other isolated areas. And just, this might be a question that someone asked, and Ben asked me about this earlier. It may not have been as clear as it could have been on the plans, but the access that we're proposing to the north, that actually does cross MDOT right-of-way that they acquired for the 4-lane improvements that are underway now. So we're actively working with MDOT for access permit, not only directly to Highway 7 as the plan showed, but also to what is a city street to the north, but we're crossing MDOT right-of-way. Yeah, right, that curve kind of continues. Oh yeah, you can see it there, the dash line, that's right. So yeah, we're not encroaching on any private property, I guess is our point. And we do have a design that actually reflects the build out of the improvements to Highway 7 that are underway now. That won't be complete for 4 years, but we have a design that works with the final product of what the road will look like once it's widened to 4 lane. And they're doing pretty significant improvements to that existing roadway to the north that we're connecting to. They're realigning that. But we're actively coordinating with MDOT on that. I know that's one of the conditions from engineering. We have to have those permits in hand before land disturbance permit, and we acknowledge that. We don't want to do anything until we get those permits anyway. So.
All right. Questions?
Yeah, related to that, this, your water management pond right there, it's, or pool, whatever, it's gonna be right there along 7. The topography, I mean, are they gonna have a problem? Are you guys gonna have like a discharge into that right away? Is it gonna be self-contained, or is there some kind of problem that'll?
We are discharging to the right of way. That's part of the permit process. The access permit's going to include hydrology. We've already submitted the same study that we did for the city. We've submitted to MDOT to show that we're not increasing flows onto the right of way. And we are proposing some grading on the right of way that we're working with MDOT on right now. I mean, that process, getting these permits has taken longer just because they've had this under, it was out to bid for several months, and then they were going under contract. Holidays, and then just starting, it's going to be kind of difficult to hem them up, honestly. But we're on track to get the permit. And again, we acknowledge the conditions that are being placed on the recommended approval.
What's the average lot size here?
So this is a common interest development, a condominium development. So technically, these are limited common areas, but they vary in size by a bit. I don't know that we have the acreage shown on these. I think they have a frontage of about 75 feet and the depth averaging about 150 feet, whatever that math would come out to be.
How close side to side? Like, how close to
10 feet.
wall to wall? 10 feet.
Yes.
Any other questions? Questions here?
Yep, go ahead. Well, stormwater management wise, as far as like where the houses are, but there's a retaining wall that's gonna run down the middle of the property. How are you gonna handle this, the water for those lots in the middle? I know the topography looks like that's the high point, so it should be fine. Are you gonna grade
So
down the street, or?
the southern kind of half of the property running east and west will be higher than the northern half of the property. And that wall separates those two elevations. And we have the drainage set up to, on the upper lots, all the drainage drains toward the street. We have some areas in the backyard of the lower homes on the top side of the sheet that will have some minor area inlets, those kinds of things. But generally, we're draining everything from the back of the lot toward the streets.
My question is, if the people that are the lower part of that retaining wall, are they gonna have standing water in the backyard?
Not if they grade it correctly per our plans.
The reason I'm asking, I'm in Windsor Falls, and that was a huge issue.
Windsor Falls?
Yeah, after the fact, after everything was done, and so we had to pay to put in all kind of drainage pipes, and people had to just.
We do our best to account for those things on the front end, and oftentimes we realize areas that maybe need more attention during construction. And for the record, we were not the engineer on Windsor Falls.
I don't know if they had an engineer, so that's a problem. Okay, thank you.
All right, any final thoughts from the commission? Anyone else from the audience who would like to speak? If not, is there a motion on case number 3310 for site plan for Walnut Grove?
Move to approve with the staff condition.
Motion to approve with the staff conditions listed. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Next case is case number 3311, Forest Hill Development has filed a request for preliminary plat approval for the Grove at Grand Oaks Phase 9 for property located at Croson Drive.
All right, for your second grove of the evening. Subject property is a little over 14 acres, located directly south of Phase 8 of the Grove at Grand Oaks, inside the PUD. Applicant is proposing this next phase of PUD as 28 new lots, 2 common spaces, an extension of Croson, an addition of cul-de-sac, and a temporary emergency access out to Bell River. That temporary access will go away once more phases are done and they actually have a permanent access down to Bell River. Proposed lots range from about 0.28 to 0.46 acres, which is similar to the lot sizes of Phase 8, and those all comply with the dimensional standards of the PUD. 244 2-inch caliber trees will be required for mitigation, and staff is working with the applicant to finalize mitigation tree placement and potential needed escrow contribution. Engineering has comments related to access, water and sewer and stormwater management, and staff recommends the approval of the preliminary plat for the Grove at Grand Oaks Phase 9 with the 7 conditions that are in your report.
Thank you, Robert. Questions from the commission?
Just want to be clear, once you exceed 79 homes, you're required to have a second means of ingress and egress. This plan, as Robert stated, this plan eventually brings that permanent secondary ingress further to, I guess it's what, south on this, Robert? West, south. So in the meantime, as they work towards building that, they have a temporary access. As they work towards getting that permanent access in place, then they'll have that there, and then they'll go back and they'll remove this temporary access. So just wanted to be clear.
Thank you, sir. Any questions? Anyone from the audience that would like to speak? All right. Hearing none, is there a motion on the preliminary plat for the Grove at Grand Oaks Phase 9?
Move approval with conditions.
It's a motion to approve with staff conditions. Is there a second?
Second.
There is a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It's approved. And that brings us to our final case, 3312. CB Holdings LLC has filed a request for site plan approval for Willow Grove for property located at 100 Clubhouse Road.
The third Grove.
Grove is popular.
Grove is a popular. Subject property measures approximately 12 acres. It's located at the southeast corner of Clubhouse Drive in OUS, and its own TNB. Property is not inside of the Grand Oaks PUD, and the applicant is seeking approval of an 18-unit RCID. This came before y'all last month for special exception requests. Applicant was approved for both special exception for the use of an RCID at this location, as well as the use of first floor residential. Proposed density complies with suburban residential zoning, and the setback shown on the site plan conform with suburban residential zoning as required by the conditions of approval of case 3303. No building plans have yet been submitted, as each house is proposed to be a custom build. Maximum pervious areas and maximum bedroom counts per unit have been proposed. Parking requirements will be calculated at the time of proposed unit construction, and each unit will be required to handle its own parking on site. Applicant has provided a landscaping plan that indicates required street trees, detention pond screening, and typical foundation plantings. If all trees are removed from the site, 244 2-inch caliber mitigation trees would be required. Landscaping plan indicates 74 trees that could be used for mitigation purposes. Applicant is currently working with staff to see which existing trees might be retained and a planting plan for any additional trees that are required. Completion of the mitigation plan is a requirement prior to any site work being performed. And engineering has comments related to access, water and sewer, and stormwater management. And staff recommends approval of the requested site plan for Willow Grove at Grand Oaks with the 7 conditions in your staff report.
You're Robert.
Applicant is here if you have any questions.
All right. Questions from the commission on the site plan?
So we're 150 trees away from mitigation
Yeah,
being close or somewhere?
right now we're still kind of figuring out a little bit of the grading on the backside of some of these, what trees need to be removed, what don't, if anything can be saved. With these, if you save one heritage tree, it helps a lot for that calculation.
Either way, either they're going to find a way to mitigate on site, or they would be required to pay into the tree as well to offset. So,
I'm not terribly worried about being able to figure this out. Yep.
Just wondering.
Yep.
yep.
Yeah, we're trying to get it clear ourselves a little bit. So, you know, I think it's the land condo thing is what's setting this off, because what we're going to do is, I mean, we're going to construct the road, and then somebody's going to come in there and build custom houses on there. So we don't know exactly how big the houses are going to be, where the lot clearing is, and all that is. So I don't know how we need to determine that now. whether it's, we get to the last lot and then we decide, okay, well, here's the total number, we have all the plans now. I mean, that's where we're kind of confused on the tree mitigation stuff, is that, Larry's gonna go in there and build the road, put all the infrastructure in, and then the lots are gonna be sold to, who's building the houses on
But I
them,
think
so.
that that's the difference here, Joey, is these are lots.
Okay.
Because this isn't a subdivision.
Correct.
Otherwise, if you want them to be a subdivision, as we talked about, then you would need to either amend the subdivision plat, since this is already platted, to either remove this from that, or to make this however many lots it would be. So I hear what you're saying, but
Sure.
that's not what you're requesting.
No,
This is a common interest development, so these are the things that have to be worked out on the front end as part of that.
Okay, so I think maybe the plan is, we will, give a rough estimate of what the trees are gonna be taken out at this point in time, and then we can do a final plan when all the houses are built, and whether that's credited back or whatever. That's where we're just, to give y'all a number of how many trees are gonna be taken out today is difficult.
Again, we put worst case scenario in there.
Yeah.
They've got a lot planted back on site already, so we can work this one out. Very confident.
Okay.
Just a question I didn't know anything about, but if there was a subdivision to come, is there a difference in the number of trees that would be removed if there was one there as opposed to
I
not?
wouldn't think so at all.
Okay.
Yeah. We're not gonna go out there and mass grade is what I'm saying, yeah.
Good.
We'll build the streets, put the infrastructure in, build the detention pond, and then the houses will come.
Other questions? Anyone in the audience who would like to speak? All right.
And that's Joey Moore from.
Sorry, Joey,
Oh, yeah.
engineering, yeah, sorry.
Thank you. If there's no further comments or questions, is there a motion on the site plan?
The tree mitigation thing is in the conditions.
Yep.
Move to approve with the conditions of the staff.
All right, there's a motion to approve with staff conditions. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. There is a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right.
Thank you.
It is granted. Is there any further business to come before the commission? Not, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion adjourned.
Is there a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.
Right.